Welcome to the channel, Healing here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my personal approach to niche selection. Now, I've mentioned a number of times in my past videos about how Amazon is a marketplace like any other, and all you really need to do is learn or interpret the information and learn what's selling and what's not through the bestseller rank, right? So I've gone over that over a past video. You can check that out if you want, and as well as search term volume. So you want to keep bestseller rank and search term volume in your mind when you're doing your niche selection. However, I go an extra step, right? I go an extra step further. I personally aim for niches that have a higher barrier of entry. So a niche that has a higher barrier of entry. Why do I do this, right? Well, for one, you'll notice the higher you go in regards to the barrier of entry, the less competition there is, right? So the less competition there is means the more money that can be made, because that's the problem with saturated niches, right? When you try to compete in saturated niches, there's just so much people in there. Because, for instance, self-help, right? Self-help is an extremely saturated, but as an extremely profitable niche as well. But beginners starting out will have a hard time competing because there's just so much competition in there. There's so much people in there. There's so much authority figures in there that it's just hard to stand out from the crowd, right? But when you go into niches where there's a higher level, a higher barrier of entry, you're going to find that there may be more skilled competitors, but there are a lot less. There are fewer competitors, right? So when I enter higher barrier niches, so things I look for instance, a prime example would be technical, right? A technical book niche. I personally do have I found immense success with technical book niches, and I on average spend around around $600 to $700 on one manuscript, so on one book for a technical niche, and I've made my money back each and every single time. Now, I personally have a particular writer. I don't just hire anybody. I'll do another video on this. I think I've talked about this in my past videos too, in regards to ghostwriters and how you should be looking to hire ghostwriters. But yeah, I have a person who's an expert in the field who writes for me, and I pay him around $700 for that book. And again, I've made my money back for each and every single book that's been produced, not in 1 month, but over time, right? So again, technical books is a prime example of a niche that has a higher barrier of entry, because the fact is that beginners or most publishers are not willing to spend this much money on a manuscript. Now, I'm not saying that you have to spend $700 on a book to make money. You can easily spend $400, $300, or even less for a book and make your profits back, right? But that just comes down to your niche selection and keyword selection as well. So, and another thing I want to mention is pictures. You want to be able to have pictures in your book. So I see many publishers, a lot of the time, they have books that require pictures, but they just use text, plain text, and that's why a lot of publishers, believe it or not, get a lot of one-star reviews, because customers like pictures, customers like images, right? And especially if you can add that to a technical book, which I do too, hint hint. That's how you have a technical book, or let's just call it a high entry book. So whether it's technical or even a cookbook, that has a lot of pictures in, that sells extremely well and has a longevity. Because the reason I'm not worried about competitors when they try to come in, right? Because it's a high level of entry. When they come in, they publish a book. Within 1 or 2 weeks, their books are bombarded and flooded with one-star reviews. Why? Because their books are not up to par. Because when you're trying to enter a niche with a higher barrier of entry, it's not as forgiving, right, as other niches, right? People will one-star your book if it's not up to par, if it doesn't have the quality, right? So that's my approach to selecting a niche. I do look for a higher barrier of entry. Why? Again, because you want to be able to aim for things where people will look, and the general public or the general publisher will look and then not even want to compete, because he's going to see the amount of effort, the amount of upfront investment, and the just amount of skill that is implemented to execute that book production, right? So that's my strategy and how I go about selecting a book for my niche. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell notification. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. And if you want to learn more about this and my approach, I give you everything. I leave no rocks unturned, and I give you all the details in Passive Income Publishing Academy, where you can learn everything you need to do to become a successful self-publisher. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.